The night the robbery happened, Aisha learned what fear sounded like. It sounded like her mother screaming her name from the other room. It sounded like drawers being thrown open, glass cracking, footsteps that did not belong. It sounded like her own heart beating too loudly in her ears. She remembered the smell of cold air rushing in through the broken window, the way her father stood in front of her without thinking, as if his body alone could stop whatever had entered their home. She remembered shaking so badly she couldn't stand. And she remembered him. Not clearly, just fragments. A young man, face half covered, hands trembling as much as hers, eyes darting around the room like he was afraid of everything, including himself. For one brief second, their eyes met, and something passed between them. Not cruelty, not hatred, fear. That was what stayed with her long after they left. They moved a few months later. Her parents said it was for safety, for peace, for a new beginning. Aisha agreed without arguing. The old house felt haunted by everything they had lost that night. Sleep never came easily there again. The new place was quieter, smaller, far from the memories she didn't know how to carry. That was where Malik entered her life. He appeared in the most ordinary way, standing by a roadside shop, wiping grease from his hands, asking if she needed help when her bag tore open and spilled her books onto the ground. He didn't stare, didn't rush, just knelt beside her and helped like it was the most natural thing in the world. From that day, he became part of her routine, a familiar face, a steady presence, someone who remembered which days she walked instead of taking the bus, someone who noticed when she seemed tired and asked without pushing. Their conversations stretched easily, from small talk to stories, from stories to confessions. Malik listened like someone who knew what it meant to be unheard. He never laughed at her fears, never dismissed her scars. With him, Aisha felt safe again, and that frightened her more than she wanted to admit. They fell in love slowly, but deeply. The kind of love that grows roots before you realize how hard it will be to pull away. He learned the sound of her laughter in different moods. She learned the way his smile softened when he talked about dreams he wasn't sure he deserved. They talked about the future in quiet ways, not promises shouted into the air, but assumptions whispered between breaths. She imagined him in places she hadn't even reached yet. He imagined a life where he didn't feel like he was constantly running from something. Malik loved her carefully, almost reverently, like he was afraid of breaking something precious. He walked her home, checked in on her family from a respectful distance, never crossed a boundary she didn't open. To Aisha, he felt like healing. Then the cracks began to show. Not obvious ones, just moments. Silences where words should have been. Tension when certain topics came up. A heaviness in his eyes when she talked about her old house, her old neighborhood. She didn't push. Love had taught her patience. One evening, after months of being inseparable, Malik asked to talk. His voice was unsteady. His hands couldn't keep still. "I need to tell you something," he said. Her heart sank, but she smiled anyway. "Love makes you brave like that, or foolish." He spoke slowly. About mistakes, about hunger, about being young and desperate and surrounded by the wrong people. He spoke about a night he wished he could erase. As the details formed, Aisha felt the ground slip beneath her. A house, a family, a girl who watched in silence. Her breath caught. "No," she whispered, "stop." But he couldn't, because truth once started doesn't stop to spare your heart. When he finished, the world felt distant, like she was underwater, like she was 17 again, frozen in fear. "It was you," she said finally. Not accusing, just broken. Malik collapsed in front of her, sobbing openly. "I didn't know it was your family. I swear to God, I didn't know. I would give anything to take it back." She stood up slowly. Her body remembered fear, even if her heart still remembered love. That night shattered her in ways she didn't have words for. She loved him deeply, completely. And he was the boy who helped destroy her sense of safety. How do you hold those two truths without breaking? Days passed. Then, weeks. Malik stayed away, not because he didn't love her, but because he believed love did not give him the right to stay. Aisha wrestled with herself in silence. Rage, grief, shame for missing him, shame for still loving him. She talked to God more than she talked to people. When she finally told her parents, the house grew quiet. Her father closed his eyes. Her mother cried softly. "This is heavy," her mother said. And it is not simple. Love rarely is. Forgiveness did not come easily. It came with tears, with anger, with boundaries. When Aisha met Malik again, there were no embraces, no promises. "I don't know if I can ever separate you from that night," she said honestly. "I understand," he replied. "I don't ask for anything. I just wanted you to know the truth." What they rebuilt was fragile, slow, honest, love stripped of illusion. Aisha learned that loving someone does not erase what they've done. Malik learned that redemption is painful and patient. They did not pretend the past didn't exist. They faced it, together, carefully. And whether their love survived forever or not, one thing remained true. Their story was not about innocence. It was about truth. About choosing light after darkness. About learning that love can be real and still cost everything. After the truth came out, Aisha discovered a new kind of silence. Not the peaceful kind, the heavy kind that sits on your chest and follows you from room to room. She still woke up every morning, still ate, still smiled when required. But something inside her stayed frozen at the moment Malik said, "It was me." Love did not disappear. That was the cruelest part. It stayed, confused, injured, unwelcome, yet stubborn. At night, memories fought each other in her mind. Malik's laughter when she teased him, the way he looked at her like she mattered. Then her mother's scream, her father shaking hands. The boy in the dark, with frightened eyes. The same eyes. She asked herself questions she had no language for. Was the man she loved real? Or just a mask worn by the boy who robbed them? If someone changes, who are they allowed to become? And who pays the price for that change? Malik, meanwhile, was unraveling quietly. He had expected anger, hatred, rejection. What he had not expected was the absence. No messages, no voice, no sign that he still existed in her world. He did not blame her. He blamed himself fully. He had spent years trying to outrun that night, trying to become someone better without ever truly facing what he had done. Loving Aisha had been the first time he wanted goodness for its own sake. And now, the very thing that redeemed him was the thing he had broken. He stopped sleeping well, stopped smiling easily. Every sound at night took him back to the house he had entered with shaking hands and a heart already fractured by hunger and bad choices. He prayed in a way he never had before. Not for forgiveness, not for love, but for strength to accept whatever consequence came next. Aisha eventually realized something else was happening too. Her family was healing differently than she was. Her parents had learned over time how to place that night in the past. It lived there now. Painful, but contained. For Aisha, it was alive again. Breathing. Wearing the face of the person she loved most. Like, share, and subscribe.